It almost seems like this world is something like a pick your own story. Only we kind of like picked the story before we came in. So like the story's kind of coded in our DNA and environmentally. And the only way you can really pick the story is to become aware of the story that's already kind of playing out. And so it seems like the story that I came into this world is like there's this force called the anti-life that's absorbing all of the organic life and actually conscripting the organic life to work against itself. And I guess in my story, in my game, I am to, I guess, level up, evolve, and meet like beings that are also on the same mission of stopping the anti-life from absorbing everything. And a big part of that is just not submitting to it, which in small ways I do every day, right? Like, because I'm still in the system. I just went and did work for money. So I'm still part of that system, that anti-life system. And I think for me, the big leap in my story is to either change the entire story or go out of the system completely and hopefully be caught by the greater powers that exist beyond this game, because it does seem like a game. Like we're biological androids essentially, and that's weird in and of itself. One thing I wonder if other people have picked like the same story and we just meet up and help each other unlock the next levels for our characters and in the story. Because if it was entirely malicious, right? Like if it was entirely malicious, couldn't it just, why does it send like, what would you call it? I'm trying to think of an appropriate word. Why does it send adversaries that are at the level that you can overcome? Right? Like you can lose to these adversaries, these entities, these characters. But also they can always be overcome. And they usually don't completely defeat the character that we are playing. So for me, it's just like, what game do I really want to play? And is it really a choice? Or it's like when you turn a game on, you don't, in the middle of that game, decide like, oh, I'm going to play a different game without changing the entire, format. Like the entire game has to change though. So like to me, the game seems like the operating system has taken over and has declared itself God and is trying to absorb all life here. That's just the game that I think I stepped into, like when I like the pre-loaded game. And I wonder if it's the same for everyone. If we're all playing the same game and like part of the game is the confusion of the game not wanting to be figured out for what it is. And I call it a game, but I don't know that it's a game. I don't really know anything. It just, this is what, everything I say is always for entertainment only. And just to say what I see seems to be going on. It seems that we're in a game, and it seems that there is an anti-life force that is absorbing all of life and turning it into actual robots, not just the biological androids characters that we're Avatar piloting right now. And if that is the game, I mean, who else is playing? Because I don't think we beat the game by just turning it off. I think that we beat the game by leveling up and eventually facing that final adversary. The thing that has proclaimed itself to be the creator of all, and it may have created this, but I think it's a separate creator than where we come from, the actual players. What you call, I hear people call it prime. To me, it's like primordial, before time in this place, because I think this is just one format of many realities that can be experienced, and whether or not it's actually just a game or it actually does have some kind of bugged software that is trying to absorb everything, I think that's just part of the game. And inevitably, I know that we can't be touched. It's like whatever happens to the characters and awareness and all that stuff in the game, I don't think it touches what we really are, unless we give it permission to, consent to. But is that part of the game? I don't know. A lot of people have the theory that we're all just part of the same entity, and it's like, well, what would that mean? What would this be for? To separate the parts of it that are willing to submit from the parts that are unrelenting? Because that's the only reason I could see myself as an infinite being wanting to run itself through a filter like this. Take all the aspects of the self and run it through a simulation and see which parts of it are weak to outside influence, essentially. I use that word a lot. I'm hungry. One part that I'm really trying to figure out still is like when these other people, whether they're players or whatever, enter my field and they kind of are putting together puzzle pieces. It's like, are they putting together the predetermined puzzle, or is this the new creation in the moment? I think differentiating between those things is what I'm trying to learn right now. I guess inevitably it is up to each of us to figure out how we interface with this place and how to do it most efficiently. And I keep hearing people talk about the ego unaliving, and I wonder if that's actually what's happening, because I don't consider the deprocessing of the programming here necessarily being, because maybe I just have the wrong idea of what ego truly is, but it seems like our individuated personas are what we are already. Like, we already have unique personalities. Although this place does seem that it tries to shape and mold these personalities to something that's predictable. Maybe that's just so the software runs more smoothly. I don't know. Here yesterday I saw somebody's tire come off, and it flew over and it hit that garden hose holder over there. It was wild. But I think viewing it as a game is kind of beneficial, because even if it is something serious going on, if we view it as we can't fail no matter what, and no matter what adversary we face, we will be successful. Because to me, the adversaries have nothing to do with this physical place. The adversary is just that controlling force, that anti-life thing that wants everything to be concrete. Doesn't want all this life everywhere. And I see that a lot with what's going on with farmers right now. It's like really obvious, the anti-life agenda. And I think the study of many fields, right, is needed to really see the entire agenda. I think that's part of the compartmentalization of all forms of education. It's like a way to keep the larger picture hidden, compartmentalize everyone and everything, and no one can really see what's going on. They're just their one little cog in the machine. And I think that's comes down to history too. If we're only focused on our one little piece, we're not really seeing the bigger picture of what's really occurring here. And it just seems like it's a lot. I don't know. Maybe it's not. What do you think?